let me jump to something else, which is how he's going to be covered this time versus the first time. Both of you guys picked up on the MSNBC morning power couple going down to kiss the ring with Trump. They say, you know, we had to meet with him. I don't have any problem with people meeting with the president-elect. I mean, that's an opportunity any journalist would take. What is your take on it, Stephen A. Smith, for people who haven't seen the show?
Well, Bill, you know, on the Stephen A. Smith show this evening, you know, I basically called it out, and I said, wait a minute, you associated him with Nazis. You called him a racist. Did you tell him that to his face when you went to Mar-a-Lago? Did you confirm that you still feel that way? Or did you turn around and retract that statement? And did you turn around and retract that statement to his face and say, hey, that you were wrong?
I don't even think he requested an apology.
Well, again, it doesn't
Trump
have
just
to.
wants to do business.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that, you know, being an adult, you know, if that's what you did, first of all, it shouldn't have been done in the first place, particularly by folks in that position. And secondly, if you did it, but then you asked to meet with him, it wasn't the other way around, and then you met with him, did you acknowledge that you said those things, apologize for it, or stand in front of his face and tell him how you felt? Because I think that goes a long way towards really redirecting, to use their word, in terms of the direction that they were going in and how they needed to redirect and, you know, look things over. But I was listening to Bill O'Reilly earlier today on the radio, and he was, you know, I'll let him speak about that, because I thought he was giving outstanding, you know, commentary as it pertains to MSNBC and what the future holds. And I'll leave it to you, Bill, to go from there.
Go ahead, Bill.
Well, here's what happened with Joe and Mika. They were ordered to go to Mar-a-Lago by Comcast, the parent company out of Philadelphia. They just didn't show up, okay? And Trump said, oh, this is great. Here they come, going to kiss my you-know-what, and we'll get photo ops, which they did. But Comcast said, you two, we're going to have to try to mend some cliche fences, and you two are going to go in there and you're going to try to tamp it down. Because Comcast knew the next day they were going to announce that MSNBC is vapor. That is a huge meteor story.
Why is it vapor? Just because they're spinning it off and putting them in the... They're spinning off a bunch of brands.
There's no spin-off.
Yeah, there is. It's a spin-off company.
There's no spin-off. See, you buy the propaganda, Cuomo.
Oh, okay.
See what I mean about
I'm just saying
people?
What's being reported.
All right.
But what do you know?
Yeah, I know, but why would you believe what's being reported? You want the real story? Here it comes.
Please.
So they're uncoupling their word, Comcast, MSNBC from NBC News. That means MSNBC has no resources at all. None. They're not going to be able to pay these people millions of dollars, Rachel Maddow, whatever she's making. NBC News is saying, we don't want you around. Why? Because NBC News' numbers, Lester Holt and the Today Show, are catastrophe, because half the country equates NBC News with MSNBC, and they won't watch. So NBC is desperately trying to save the mothership of information, and they have to throw MSNBC overboard. They're not putting anything into MSNBC. They want to sell it. So where's Georgie Soros now? Georgie's buying radio stations. You can get MSNBC for nothing. They'll give it to you. They don't want any more of this. Why? Because it's hateful. Not because it's so far left. The whole NBC Comcast hierarchy is far left. But it's hateful. They hate Trump. They hate people who vote for Trump. Everybody knows that. And you know what's next? The View. ABC News is going to have to cut ties with The View. And you saw that today or yesterday when Sonny Hostin had to read a legal statement in the middle of a segment. The lawyers get Whoopi Goldberg's ear, and it said, we're bringing a statement in on a teleprompter. She reads it. So it is over for these far left networks. Done, never coming back. Dracula's stake in the heart. Who benefits? NewsNation may, but CNN, which is on the ropes too, will probably get some MSNBC viewers. Wow. There you go.
What do you think of that?
Well, I'm certainly not going to accuse him of not making sense, because I think that Morning Joe going to Mar-a-Lago speaks volumes. That's number one. Number two, I just think it's important, the point that Bill O'Reilly is bringing up. For years, he had the no spin zone. For years, you've been on television. And no matter what opinions people may have had about you guys, the fact of the matter is that you never spoke about people the way that we heard people speaking about Trump going into this election. And as again, putting myself on Front Street, I didn't vote for Trump. What did I say? What I said was I think the presidency is a statesmanship position to some degree. I didn't like the way that he divides the country, and I didn't think the country needed that. What you never heard me saying was the kind of stuff that you heard on Morning Joe and beyond. And I think that because of that as Bill O'Reilly just stated, it's not the difference of opinion. It's not the different ideology. It's the hatefulness. Now, I don't, I'm working at that time, so I haven't seen a lot of MSNBC in that regard. But based on everything that I've read and the things that you've heard them say, and what he just articulated about them being ordered to go up to Mar-a-Lago, it all makes a load of sense. And I'm not in a position to be questioning Bill O'Reilly, who's been right more than he's been wrong.
I don't know what the decoupling is about, if it's about tone versus P&L. Yep. I don't know. Right. And we'll see. It'll come out. But, it wasn't just MSNBC. They spun off. They got like 8, 9 brands they're putting in this new vehicle. But be that as it may.
Yeah, but that's the big one.
Right. It is. Well, yeah.
That's the big one.
That's the biggest one. But the backstory.
Do you have any questions, Cuomo?
No, I have something to say. That's why the name on the show is mine.
Go ahead, me.
The interesting part here is the backstory. Before they hated Trump, they did more to get Donald Trump elected, Joe and Mika, than anybody in the media. I am as guilty as any for giving Trump a lot of attention and his rallies during the campaign, okay? There's an explanation for that, too, but doesn't matter right now. What does matter is they loved him. They were on videotape. Bill will remember this. In a commercial break, asking Trump what they should talk about when they come back. And if I did that, okay, I would have been fired. And they liked me at the time there, and it would have been donezo for me. So to me, what it reeks of, Bill and Stephen, is opportunism. That this was never an act of conscience.
No, it's
from
money.
them. It was just money. And now they need it, so they go. As we have seen other people do, who once went at it with Trump and now are going there and they're standing at his rallies and they're doing whatever they're doing.